Hey loves, I'm back and this time I switched it up. We're doing a blowout. If you want to see how I got from this to this, please stay tuned. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. We got London on the track. Okay, let's get started. So this is her hair before shampooing. And this is it after. So I'm going in now and I'm just going to section in some large square sections and twist the hair. And this is prior to putting her under the dryer. I'm going to put her under the dryer and allow her to dry about 85%. I would say roughly between 70 to 85%, and that's based on the density of your client's hair. Her hair is thick, but it's very fine in texture, so I don't want hers to go completely dry because I don't want to have to excessively dry it with my blow dryer. Now mostly dry, I'm going to go ahead and loose out my sections, and then I'm going to go ahead and blow dry. And I'm going to blow dry it about as straight as I can get it. The reason I'm doing this is, of course, I want to stretch the hair, but also too, I want to clean up her ends. So we definitely want to do that before we go in and we start soaking it out with our flat iron. So this gives us a little bit of structure when trying to trim those ends. I always advise don't trim the ends when it's in its most kinkiest state, because it's a little bit more harder to kind of tell what you're actually trimming as split ends and then what you're actually trimming as just their hair. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this out as good as I can get it. And then as you can see here, you can see the frayed ends. It makes it a lot more easier, and it also salvages a lot more of their length than if you do it while it's in its natural state or while it's wet. Now, as you can see here, she has no problem with me trimming. She's reaching to the back leg. I want you to get all of that. So I'm going to trim it up. Definitely a nice healthy trim. We're not going to layer it too much right at first, but I did later on find out that after the trim, she wanted it a little bit more layered. So I did go back in later and actually take just a little bit more off, not too much. So I've already done her top, and I'm going in and I'm doing the back and the sides. And all I do is follow my guideline. Wherever I originally started my first cut is what I use to go throughout the hair. So I don't just grab and pull. I'm literally following with the guideline. So now that her trim is complete, I've done the entire head. I'm going to go in with my chi, and I'm going to rub this in. And I believe I'm using about a quarter size. Between a nickel and a quarter size. Again, like I said, her hair is very fine, so too much product, even of the chi, will cause it to go limp. And I'm just going to make sure I get it on those ends as well. Now I'm sectioning her hair small, but not too small. My flat iron, I believe, is on 400. Don't quote me on that. But the key to that, if you have a flat iron that heats up really well, is to press and pass, press and pass. You don't want to spend a long time pulling that hair through. Just go ahead and pull it through. Of course, if her hair was a lot more dense and a lot more coarse, I would bring my flat iron through a lot slower. But in this case, her hair is very fine, so it doesn't take much. And if you notice, I'm not doing a lot of passes through her hair, maybe once or twice, and that is it. Also, a technique that I've realize is that with finer hair, if you don't go too close to the scalp and get it too straight, it'll prevent it from looking so limp afterwards. I want her to have some body and some movement to her hair. So even though I'm soaking her out at the roots, I'm making certain that I don't overdo it. We want a relaxed look, but we don't want a limp look. So you have to be mindful with that. With coarser hair, yes, I would say definitely, so that you can remove some of the bulk and the weight, go ahead straight to the scalp and press that out as thinly as possible. But with finer hair, you want to leave a little bit of cushion. For her hairline, I'm going in with a smaller, and this is an EAP Flat iron. So I'm just using the smaller one just to kind of press it out. And then I'm going back in with my larger flat iron. Okay, so right before I wrap her, I go ahead and thumb through it. I make certain that I've curled everything. I don't have any straight strands. And then I go in and wrap it and put my wrap cap on. I put her under the dryer, and usually, depends. Most times I do maybe about a minute and a half. On coarser hair, I do a little bit longer. And this, because I don't want it to fall completely limp, but I do want it to lay very smoothly. This takes care of any flyaways or any hair that just didn't silk out as evenly. This method definitely helps with that. For some, I use saran wrap or some plastic, but for her hair, I'm not going to do that. Again, I'm trying to alleviate the hair being limp. We want as much movement and as much body as possible. That's my little wrap cap spin technique. So I do that. Once I put it on, I spin the cap around and it does tighten the mold. And then I pull out that little area right in front of the ear, and that just prevents it from like sticking off and then being a problem to tame later. So right now I'm going to go ahead and comb her out just to see what we have going on, whether or not I need to go back in and flat iron the tail ends of it, or whether we're good. And this is definitely going to depend on how long you leave the hair under the dryer. And from the looks of it, I think we nailed it. So now I'm going in with just a little bit of my Hicks edge control, and I mean just a little bit. We're not trying to slick it down too much. We just want to make sure that just the hairline is laying smoothly. And then I'm going to go in with my rake and just comb through it, creating those layers and just styling accordingly. Now with the light oil by Influance, I'm just going to lightly mist her hair with it. All Sheen sometimes gets a little heavy and weighs the hair down. So I'm just going to use this light little oil, and then I'm going to be sure to comb that in as well, because I don't want the oil to just sit on the hair. So I had a change of plans. I decided to change her part. She usually wears it on the other side, but I realized that the left side of her hair was a lot heavier, and I felt like it would hold the style better. So she was all with it. She was a great sport. She said, hey, we'll try something new. So I went ahead and changed her part, and then I added a little bit of Hicks to the right side this time, just to lay everything down. And I think it actually styled a little bit better. So anytime you're styling your client's hair, even if they have a normal parting that they usually wear, sometimes it's in the best interest to switch it up and go the opposite route, especially for the sake of the style. This was the before, so this was her wearing the part on the side she usually wears it on, and the bang and everything, it was okay, but it just didn't do it. Now this, on the other hand, I think looks perfect. Comment below and let me know what you think, and don't forget to share this video. And as always, until next time, bye loves.